halfway through. For some of us, we're in really good shape. For some of us, we need to change our approach and, do stuff. Okay, so today I'm going to be introducing you to a new software that we're going to be using a whole lot through the rest of this chapter. So it's called CodeApp. This is actually one of those things that when I was out for those couple of days, this is one of those days I spent learning this. So I'm really excited for us to use it. It's really cool. It's going to be really helpful for learning what we're doing. So you need to go onto the Canvas page. Go onto onto our Canvas page for Prime. So should look like this. In fact, I'll switch it over to student view so you can actually boop. So it should look just like this. Probably even with that to do on the side where several of us don't have all the homework on. So get your Chromebooks out, get into Canvas, get into our page. We're going to click on this button here for the current module for Unit 8. You're going to go down, you're going to find today's date. Today is October 16th. So go find 10/16. Let's go to Canvas right now. So Canvas, Prime, Unit 8, find today. So we're going to go down, 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 down. 10/16, it says 10/16, more standard deviation. We're going to click on it. And we're going to notice a meme, always. And then I have 3 links here. Task 1, that's our first one. It says Learn CodeApp. I want you to click on that. And it's going to pull you into a page that looks like this. It should open it in a new tab. There is a checklist on the left-hand side. Do it. I need you to interact with some things to get this to work. If you click on the Show Me links, it will show you how to do it, or it'll talk you through it. It still may have you in Miss Thedes. Give me a second, and I can like directly email you the links. I gotta do our attendance anyway. Okay, so work through this. We're gonna do a couple other things once we get through this, but I want you to play around with it. Look at some stuff, figure out how to make stuff work. So you're going to go into the Canvas page. You're going to go to the Unit 8 module, that first one. You'll go down to the 10/16, more standard deviation, and then this first link is the one we're in right now. and then you should have it in your email here. For the most part, when we're working with this stuff, I'm going to give you data sets. But I want you to play with some of this stuff. Move some things around. I'm going to try and make a graph. Zoom here because I want to be able to show us some stuff. So what's a graph somebody made with this? Which one? It is. So, but what we want to do is I want to take a couple of pieces from our table and make it a relevant data point. So maybe I take the height and I can put that down there. And it's going to make us a histogram of the heights of all these mammals. Maybe I don't like it down here. Maybe I would rather have height be over here. Oh, I can do that, and it's going to put it over here. What if I wanted to compare height to something else? What would we want to maybe compare height to? Mass. Let's maybe check mass. Height versus mass. So height and weight, let's see. Well, there definitely looks like there might be some interesting data there. This program is really cool because it'll take this particular file. If I want to know, what's this guy way out here? It's an elephant. It'll give me the data from here. I can click on this one. There's an Asian elephant. I can do all kinds of things. I can come over here and have it calculate a line of best fit. I can have it count. When I have my just one piece of information, so if I get rid of that guy, like, let's see, how do I get rid of it? Remove. If I go back to my just height, I can have it find my mean. I can have it find my median. I can have it make a box and whisker plot. I can have it measure my standard deviation. And it can label all of those things. So it can mark all these things. So let's keep our mean, and let's keep, I'm going to keep the standard deviation out for now. If I was interested in something else, maybe I don't do a quantitative, maybe I do something categorical, like we do habitat. I can do categorical data, and it's going to split it into a couple of different things. So I've now got my land animals here, my water animals here. I could switch this over to be speed. And then if I still want to know about their habitats, I can put it in the middle. And it's going to color code it. So there's all kinds of information we can do with this software, and we are going to practice with this software a whole bunch of times because we are going to wind up using this software during our project. So we're going to practice with this bunches and bunches and bunches. So this mammals one is just kind of meant for us to play around with and see different pieces of it. There's our mass, and it's marking our habitats there still with the colors and all that jazz. What I want us to do now is I want us to look at that, I think it's the second link on the Canvas page. I'm going to leave. This one. Yeah. If you go to the second link on the Canvas page, the task number 2, these are our datas from the dots we put on the screen. The dots we took with our timer. And I want us to see, this is the data for all of the classes. So I want you to make 3 graphs. I'm going to do the 10-second one. And I'm going to put it just on the x-axis. And then we can mark our mean. If we click the count button, it should show us the values. Oh no, show measured labels is what tells us the actual mean. So it's going to show our mean. And then if we go into measures of spread, we can click standard deviation, and it shows us that. This is what we tried to calculate on Friday before break. On these things. So here's our 60-second. We found our mean and our median, and we calculated most, where we found our most. This is the data from all 3 classes. So I want you to try and make the graphs for the other 2 cases as well, so we can see what the standard deviations are.
Wait, what did you first do the S1, S2?
Say it for me again.
What did you press to get the 2.88 SDU?
Oh, to get our standard deviation to show, we're going to click on the ruler, so it's a measure. And then you're going to click on measures of spread, which is that box right there behind where my finger was, and standard deviation is right there. So there's all kinds of measures. We can do a box plot. There are things in here I'm still learning because I was literally just trained on this like a week before. Yes, sir.
It doesn't show measure labels on
Mm. Let's see what's going on.
Oh, it's because you're still in this one and it's not that things you can measure. You're in 2 days. So go back over here. Because we're not doing so we'll do this one. If you have 2 points like that, it's not going to be able to do that measurement. So it's not going to have that.
So you're going to do a graph with a single thing on the x-axis. Don't put one on the y.
Yeah. So you can switch it. You can either do it like that, or you can make a whole new graph and put that another graph on. Oh, yeah.
Not you. Nosy watch. Here you go, Padre. Okay, so I want us to look at the 3 graphs, just like we did the ones on the board on that Friday before. So if you need to, go ahead and make a couple more graphs. It's always going to toss this kind of random scatter plot looking thing out when it's talking about that. It just doesn't have any data yet. So I'm going to toss my 30-second case down here. And then I'm going to make another graph for my 60 seconds. Oop. There we go. And I want my mean and my standard deviation. Because this is what we talked about that Friday right before break. Was our mean and our standard deviation. Oh, I gotta get my measure labels on there so we can actually tell what the values are. There we go. Show measure labels. If you want to change what your value, where your values are, you can always grab the number line down here at the bottom and scooch stuff over. And that'll let you adjust how far apart things are. So if we think about what we talked about that Friday, right before the end of fall break when our brains were sludge and we were ready for a break. We talked about our standard deviation, and what that is that's how far apart most. How far out from the middle we had to go to get most people, a majority, 2/3. This is now the data from all 3 prime classes. Ours and Miss Thiedi's 2 classes, all of those together. So our average, our mean, was 9.88. And the standard deviation, most people are within 2.8 seconds. That's what that means. Most people are in this blue window. About 1/3 of the people are outside, but 2/3, majority, are inside that window. Same thing for our 30-second estimate. We had an average of 28.6. And most people are within 4.9 seconds on either side of that average. Our standard deviation has everything to do with that mean. It's going on either side of that. Goodness. Okay. Yeshki. I will swing by at the end of the day. I will swing by after this period. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Bye. All right. And so it's the same thing with our bottom case with our 60-second. We had an average of 55.8, standard deviation of 9.16. So most people were either within 9 seconds low or 9 seconds high. So what we were looking at really is we were trying to see which of these has the bigger standard deviation and why. So looking at our 3 cases here, which one has the biggest standard deviation? The 10-second, the 30-second, or the 60-second? It's the 60 seconds, yeah. Because everybody's more spread apart. This one has a standard deviation of 9. So from my mean, it's going 9 higher or 9 lower. There's my mean. On my 30-second, my standard deviation is 4.8, so it's about 5. So 5 higher, 5 lower. 3 higher, 3 lower. So this has a standard deviation of 3. This has a standard deviation of about 5. And this has a standard deviation of about 9. So the closer together your dots, the smaller your standard deviation. The farther apart your dots, the bigger your standard deviation. And that's really what we're trying to notice here. Okay, so we're going to have one more of these to play with. One more of these to play with, and that link is down here. Oh, snap. It says task 3, 2 students quiz grades. This is in your workbooks, page number 70. And I want you to form an opinion which student seems to be more consistent with their homework. They're quiz grades. Who's most consistent? You've got person A and person B. So we've got Alex and Betty. I don't know. But this data set is there. I want you to look at it and put your opinions on there. This is a matter of statistical analysis and opinion. So graph them, get some data points, who's most consistent, form an opinion. Okay? Let's see. Oh, this one. Yeah. So our data is on CODAP, and the information, the questions we're asking are up here. So I want you to take like 10 minutes and play around with it. Yes, ma'am. If you need to write things down in your notebook, you can, but honestly, I literally just made this over fall break on how to do it data-wise. So that's the questions. I didn't get any of the questions programmed into the code app part of it. I can put it in there if you would like to put a text box in there so you can write things down or put your own ideas. You can hit this button right here and use the text box to type in. There's a calculator here where you can use a calculator on it and calculate things yourself. We are going to be using CodeApp bunches and bunches and bunches. I was so excited for this training. Oh my gosh. Okay, is the rest here? Yes. Thank you. Take just a couple more minutes to go through your data and see which one you think. Who is more, let's see, consistent with their homework? And how do you know? All right, what do we think? Is person A or person B more consistent with their homework? Person A, why? I'm not saying you're wrong, but why?
All of them are close together.
Yeah, they're real close together. If we look at their data for data set A and data set B here, let's see, can I make it zoom it in a little bit again. There we go. So I put up here kind of all the things we could look at. We've got our mean, we've got our median, we've got our standard deviation. Data set A, person A has a mean of 7.95 and a standard deviation of just 1. So most of their homework is within 1 point of that 7.95. For person B, they have a lower mean and their standard deviation is bigger. So they have to go farther out to catch most. What that is, it's how many steps away from the center to get most. We can also see that in their box and whisker plots. I've got those up here too. Remember how the box is supposed to have half of your stuff? In this case, our box is super duper narrow. Half of their stuff is right on the 8. Here we have to go out significantly farther to grab half. Okay, so the blue bars are most, 2/3. The red box is half. And we can see for a lot of different reasons, person A can be marked as more consistent. Whether we're looking at their mean versus their median and median being very close together. Whether we're looking at their standard deviation, for 1, a lot of information is between 7 and 9. For person B, they have to go between 5 and 9 to get most. So we have to look really carefully at it. So there's lots of different reasons why you can say person A. And that's going to be a running theme for us. It's not just going to be which one's the right answer, but why. Tell me why. Tell me why. Yeah, it was a Backstreet Boys girl. Oh, yeah. Okay, so a lot of what we're going to be having is, yes, person A is more accurate. Why? Their standard deviation is smaller. Their mean and median are closer together. Their box and whisker plot is narrower. However you want to word it, however many of those you want to give me, but you're gonna need to be able to explain why you think that. because a lot of statistics, we're pulling opinions. So back it up with some factoids. Especially when we get into our project at the end of this chapter, you're going to be forming an opinion, but your opinion needs to be based on the data. Okay? So we're going to be looking at a whole lot of stuff, and you're going to say, who's the better golfer? Who's the more accurate student? Who's the best high jumper? Who are you going to take to the Olympics? You're forming an opinion based off of the data. And for many reasons, there could be more than one right option. So you got to be able to back up your data. Okay, we are not going to be calculating standard deviation by hand because the calculations for it are objectively gross. We're going to use things like CODAP or Google Sheets to do those calculations for us. Okay, so we're going to be working with CODAP a lot this chapter. So we are going to use our computers, I'm not going to say every day, but I'd say probably every other day. I don't believe we need them tomorrow. But I think the homework for tomorrow does have a data set that you can do on CODAP. So having it's never going to hurt, but we're not going to need them again. Friday, we're going to need them for sure. For sure. You will need it Friday. We're going to do a little baby project on Friday. Because I like them. And I am honestly loving this software. It is so cool. There are so many cool things it can do. I was just trying not to overwhelm you with so many cool things because I wanted to do all the things. It was so fun. We spent 8 hours on this software at my training, and it was so much fun because I'm a huge nerd. And I am unabashed at that. Okay, so homeworks are all on Canvas still. Please make sure you're checking the Canvas stuff for homeworks. Again, due dates or guidelines. It's a schedule to get you something so that we're not doing it all the day before the test going, So homework 4, it vaguely fits here. All right, so you guys have 10 minutes left to the end of the period. Work on stuff, check in on stuff, see if you have any missing stuff from before fall break, because that you should be able to do. Homework 4, I believe that's the one that does have a data set online on CODAP, which I put the link to it in the Canvas homework, I think. I'll check. Was that? Absolutely. Do you want to? You got your stuff with you? Yeah. I'll let you pass Noah.